Traditionally, the software industry has followed the waterfall model of project management, where the entire project is divided into distinct phases. These phases are conception, initiation, analysis, design, construction, testing, production, and implementation, and maintenance. Each phase begins only after the previous one ends. This model was derived from established industries like construction, where it had been tried and tested. However, by the mid-90s, it was realized that this model was not suitable for the software industry, where requirements change rapidly. Agile models of project management began to emerge, and Scrum was one of those methodologies. The essence of Agile software development lies in providing incremental releases of the product through shorter, iterative cycles. Let's explore Scrum in detail. What is Scrum? Scrum is an Agile project management framework that uses iterative release cycles. In a project following Scrum, there is a fixed-duration release cycle called a sprint, at the end of which a potentially releasable part of the product is delivered. The criteria that define whether a product is potentially releasable are outlined in the definition of done. This definition includes the conditions under which a user story, a statement that describes a product feature, is considered complete and ready for release. The definition of done is agreed upon by the team at the beginning of the project, and will be updated when required. A Scrum team consists of members who fulfill 3 distinct Scrum roles. These members participate in specific Scrum ceremonies, which result in the creation of key artifacts at the end of each sprint. Scrum roles. Scrum operates with 3 key roles: the Scrum Master, the development team, and the product owner. Let's explore each role. Scrum Master. Ideally, each Scrum team has one Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is a facilitator who ensures the team has everything needed to work efficiently. They are experts in Scrum and act as a coach, guiding the team in adopting and adhering to Scrum principles. The Scrum Master is responsible for removing impediments that hinder the team's progress. They also serve as a bridge between the development team and the product owner, ensuring the interests of both are protected. Development team. The development team is responsible for developing the product increment during each sprint. The ideal team size is 7 members, plus or minus 2. Team efficiency tends to drop if the team becomes too large or too small. For large projects, teams are often split into smaller teams, coordinated by a scrum of scrums. Development teams are flat. There is no hierarchy of leads or senior or junior members. All members are equal and accountable to one another, not to the Scrum Master or product owner. Product owner. The product owner represents the customer and is often a key stakeholder. They have a strong understanding of the product requirements and a clear vision of how the software should evolve. The product owner drives product development by maintaining the product backlog and orders the backlog items based on its priority. Now, let's explore the essential artifacts in Scrum. These are the key documents and tools that help teams plan, track, and deliver value. During each sprint cycle, several Scrum artifacts are created and maintained. They include the product backlog, the sprint backlog, the product increment, and the burn-down chart, which is optional. Let's take a closer look at each one. Product backlog. The product backlog is a prioritized list of features for the product being developed. Each feature is written as a user story on a story card. A user story describes a feature or functionality from the user's perspective. It typically follows this format. As a user, I want goal. So that reason. For example, as a registered user, I want to log into the application so that I can view content available only to registered users. Sprint backlog. The sprint backlog is a subset of the product backlog selected for the current sprint. Items are chosen based on priority and the team's velocity, the average number of story points completed in previous sprints. Product increment. This is the deliverable at the end of each sprint. It is a potentially shippable part of the product that meets the definition of done. Burn-down chart. This visual tool helps track the remaining work in the sprint. It helps the team stay on target. Burn-down chart is not a mandatory artifact in Scrum. Together, these Scrum artifacts help maintain transparency, focus, and progress. They enable your team to deliver high-quality increments, one sprint at a time. Now, let's dive into the sprint ceremonies or events. Scrum includes a set of recurring ceremonies or events, which are meetings that help ensure transparency, collaboration, and continuous improvement. Sprint planning meeting marks the start of the sprint. The developers select the highest priority items from the product backlog that they believe can be completed during the sprint, and create the sprint backlog. The product owner helps clarify any questions. The selected product backlog items are broken down into tasks and estimated. The Scrum Master facilitates the meeting, while the product owner and team work closely to plan the sprint and create a sprint goal. The next event is the daily stand-up. This is a short, 15-minute, daily meeting where each team member answers. What did I do yesterday? What will I do today? Are there any impediments? Next, we have the sprint review. Held at the end of the sprint, the team demonstrates the increment to the product owner and stakeholders. Feedback is gathered and added to the product backlog for future consideration. Finally, we have the sprint retrospective. Also held at the end of the sprint, this meeting reflects on the process. What went well? What went wrong? What can be improved? Product backlog refinement, another process conducted in a sprint. This occurs every sprint to ensure the backlog is ready. The product owner, Scrum Master, and team collaborate to clarify upcoming stories. Complex stories may be broken into smaller stories or estimated using story points. Scrum brings structure, focus, and continuous improvement to complex projects. By understanding its roles, events, and artifacts, teams can deliver value incrementally and adapt quickly to change. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more insights on Agile and Scrum. Thanks for watching.